What's going on, people? We're back again for another opposition preview as we look ahead to Palace's game on Tuesday night against West Ham in the Premier League. For this episode, I'm joined by Charlie from the Hammers Chat. But before we start the episode, make sure you hit the like button if you do enjoy it, and also subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. Charlie, thank you for joining me. Hope you're doing well. Looking at West Ham this season, I guess you're just over the moon. I don't think it's a fluke. We're talking about West Ham in January, 7th place in the Premier League, 3 points off top four, and you're just coming off a 4-0 victory against Doncaster in FA Cup. What is going on? It's ridiculous.
It's been completely mad, especially for me. I hate David Moyes with a passion. I can't lie to you. I think he's the most boring man in the world. I think he's the most boring manager in the world. He's only got one tactic. It just doesn't work. But the thing is, we've got 11 players at the moment who suit him perfectly, who suit the system perfectly. And when it comes down to it, that's sort of all you need. I mean, when we get injuries, especially the guy up top, if he ever gets injured, we're absolutely screwed. But outside of that, I mean, we're really good. We're much better than we should be, and we can go up against the teams that we shouldn't. You know, when you look at the table, you look at the fixtures, and you see like your Chelseas, your Man Cities, you go, all right, well, we can write those off. We're not going to bother about points against them. We're going up against them and going, we've got a cheeky chance here. And then against the teams where we would usually struggle, which is the teams in and around us, we're dispatching them all right. It's been a good season despite my dislike for David Moyes.
Yeah, well, we at Palace, I'm not a massive fan of Roy as well, but of course the difference is you guys are getting results with David Moyes, so it might be a bit hard for you. What matters the most for you then? Is it just results, or is it a style of football? Because we're having this debate at Palace where when we move on from Roy, what do we want? Do we want to go and play more exciting football, or should we get a manager who is going to get us results? How do you see it with you guys?
This is why I don't like David Moyes. Is I'm all about the style. I'm all about being entertained. If I'm more happy watching West Ham struggle in the league, like we did, for example, Gianfranco Zola is a great example. When we had Zola, the football we played was amazing, but we were dog crap. We were bad. Like we almost went down the first season, and then we struggled. And then when the new owners came in, they got rid of him, right? But I was happy that year. We're seeing Carlton Cole scoring bangers out of nowhere. Mark Noble's dribbling through people like prime Ronaldinho. That's the bit I love. And that's my problem with Moyes is like it's so dire. It's so predictable. We know what's going to happen. We know exactly how he's going to play. He's going to set up defensively. He's going to hit it. And I just don't like it. But it's one of those things where if you're going to progress as a club, I guess you just have to start getting those results to get the better players in order to be able to play that more attractive football. Because in the Premier League these days, realistically, if you come out trying to play all this kind of sick football, most of the time you're going to get got if you're not good enough. And I guess that's kind of the catch-22 here. But for me personally, I'm all about style over substance all day, all night.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. For me, I like it. I like when we get results. I guess we are getting. That's the hard thing with Roy Hodgson. I don't want to make this a Roy Hodgson David Moyes show. But when you're looking at Palace, this season it hasn't quite got the same feeling. We've never really lost 7-0 in the past, and we managed to do that against Liverpool. Even against Villa, I know they're doing well this season. Lost 3-0. I guess we got results over the last. When you're looking at turn of the year, we've got results against Leicester, 1-0, and against Sheffield United. But I'm just not confident in the long run. And we've got hard fixture list coming. And against you guys going into this game, I guess we need to go and look at it as a win, a must win, because we have to beat teams like you. But then again, you're playing well. So talking about expectations so far this season, what is it now? As West Ham fans, where do you think you can end up at the end of the season? Is it Europa League finish, Champions League, or just top half? What's your aims?
Everything's sort of gone out the window. I think before the season, you would have said, do you know what? This season, as long as we're comfortable in the Premier League, and I'm talking like a 13th plus finish where you're not worried about relegation the entire season, then you're good. I think that's kind of what most people would be happy with. We're in a position now where we're 7th. We're 1 point off Tottenham, who are in like 5th or 4th at this point. Yeah. We're looking at it and saying, actually, if we invested a little bit in this window, maybe got a backup striker in, because we've literally only got Mikel Antonio. I cannot stress to you, we only have Mikel Antonio. Then we could maybe push for a Europa League finish. I think realistically, though, that's probably a bit beyond us. I think we'll probably, because we've had some lucky results as well. It's not like we've deserved every single win we've got. We've got some lucky results in there. I think we'll end up probably averaging out as a top half team. And I think for the most part, that would be considered a success and then something to build off for next season. I think most West Ham fans, if you ask them, would you rather a Europa League spot or say a run to the FA Cup final and a safe finish? They would pick FA Cup final because we're still in that. We've got hard opposition next round in either Manchester United or Liverpool, whoever win that match. I think that's where a lot of West Ham fans are looking at actually towards the cup as opposed to the league. Because I think as much as we'd want to go into Europe and everything else, I think that's probably a bit beyond us this season.
Yeah, when you're looking at a club like Palace, which you guys love doing, we see on Twitter, you're obsessed with us, which I don't know why you are. What do you think? Where do you think this Palace side should finish realistically under Roy Hodgson? How do you see it from the outside? We as Palace fans, we're debating it. Is this team good enough only to stay up? Can we finish in the top half? We're not too sure what we can do. But from you looking at the outside, from the outside, what do you think that this Palace side should realistically achieve?
I think you're in a similar position to us, right? Where you have a decent enough team who are doing bits, but you're not going out there and buying incredible players every single window to try and keep up with everything else. Because we're both teams who would like to think, oh, we potentially get a top half finish here. But when you look at like Leicester, Everton, Wolves, even Southampton, they're all these teams who are starting to consolidate their positions higher up the table by playing so well and by bringing in banger after banger when it looks at players. If you look at Crystal Palace and you look at West Ham, it's quite similar where we are taking steps forward, I feel like. Both of our clubs are taking one step forward at a time, one step forward. The clubs around us are taking 2, 3. They're flying ahead of us. So I think when you look at who can get top half finishes in the Premier League, I think everyone talks about the top 6, but I think then outside of that, you've also got like your Evertons, your Leicesters, who are definitely going to finish up there. That's only 2 spots left. And then you've got these other teams all fighting for it. It's going to become more and more difficult. Palace, what I like about you is you do have those star players in there. You do have that little sprinkling of quality, and that's the players you sort of need to step up when they hit the form, when they hit running, then you can get some good wins together and get into that top half of the table. I think you can finish there. I don't think it's probably going to happen this season, but you definitely can, and you've got the players where in future, if you just add a couple more players here and there, that's a decent looking team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but do you think we can achieve that with a manager like Roy Hodgson? Because that's the question. When we're looking at our team right now, yes, it isn't. It's not a top 6 team. It isn't that. But then again, you got Eze, you got Wilfried Zaha, and how many goals have we scored so far this season? I think only 22 in how many games? 19. It's still not great. We're still not utilizing these players. So where do you see it as a man? Do you think maybe we're overrating all these players that we've got, or is it the manager?
I mean, if we can do it with David Moyes, you can do it with Roy Hodgson. I'll put it out there. Both of them went to top clubs at some point and flopped a little bit, but it's more than likely. I think realistically, you've got, like you say, Zaha is obviously incredible. I think Eze is a brilliant player. We wanted him. We were desperate for him. He was David Moyes' first choice, and then obviously he ended up going to Palace because you lot don't mess around as much as our owners do in the transfer market. And, you've got other people in there like Townsend who can do it on his day and other bits and pieces. I think it's just a case of it's for a club like ours, for a club who have a manager like ours, all of the pieces have to come together at once. And that's what we've had compared to you. I think you could easily be in the position we are if you just had this run that we've had. It's like I said, we've got the luck of the green here. We've had the rub there. That's all it takes is a bit of luck and you can get your way through. Because realistically, our team is a lot more... Whenever I've spoken about Crystal Palace in the past, when we've done previews on Hammer's Chat and stuff, I've always used the word functional. When I look at a Roy Hodgson team, I go, it's a functional team. They work well, they do their bit, they all know their jobs, they're working hard for it. We've arguably got a more functional team than you do. We have a little star player here and a star player there, but realistically, our only guy who's really going mad up front is Mikel Antonio. Outside of that, everyone's working hard defensively, and I think that's the difference. Is we've just had that luck of the green. If you've got 2 star players, let's say Eze and Zaha, we've only got 1. It's just the form, it's just the luck, really. I think you could easily be in that position next season, and if you add 1 or 2 players, like I'm thinking a couple of fullbacks or something like that, I don't know. You could have a team that could quite easily challenge for a top half finish, even under Roy Hodgson.
Okay, that's interesting. Now talking about the players, so who's going to score the annual banger against us. I mean, someone always scores a worldie
Yeah.
against Crystal Palace, and we saw it with Haller in the last game.
Yeah.
And then there was also the Andy Carroll scream as well. Is it going to be Antonio? He's on form. I've watched him play in the last couple of games, and as you say, he's your only striker, but his strength on and off the ball, and also, you know, inside the box, he's a threat as well. How do we go and stop this guy so he doesn't score that banger that you guys always do score against us?
I mean, here's the thing. You'll be happy to know Haller's gone. He can't come back. It's not going to happen this time as much as we want it to. He's gone. He's at Ajax now. He's doing his thing there. Realistically, you've got two options for the banger. You've got Mikel Antonio. And Antonio, unlike Haller and unlike Carroll, he doesn't have the technical ability to do an overhead kick, but he will just do it. He's one of these people. He plays football like I play football, in that I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm on the ball. So the opposition don't know what I'm going to do when I'm on the ball because I'm not very good. And Antonio is the same. He gets on the ball and he seems to just sort of do stuff on the fly without thinking about it. There's no forethought. There's no anything else. He just sort of wobbles through and it works. And I think if someone's going to score an over kick, it's him. If it's going to be a long range banger, you're looking at Ben Rama probably. You're looking at Lanzini maybe. And Bowen can kind of hit him from range. Those are the people you're looking at. But if realistically, I think you'll probably escape. I think you'll probably escape the annual banger this year. But I think what you will see is probably Souček. Souček is such a danger. I cannot stress to you. You're looking at a David. He is our Fellaini. If you're looking at David Moyes, you want to compare it. He is our Fellaini. Big guy, centre midfield. He's running the park, running up and down nonstop. He covers miles and miles a game, and he will consistently pop up in dangerous areas you won't think he'll pop up in. It'll be headers, it'll be tap-ins, it'll be everything. He's like a striker, but playing at DM is actually kind of wild.
Yeah, Souček is a good point, because whenever you watch West Ham play, he's always involved going forward. Which, if you don't watch him play regularly, you might think he's like a, I don't know, attacking midfielder because of how forward he always gets. But he's actually a defensive midfielder. So does that allow spaces in behind him when Souček pushes up? Is that one area that we can potentially target, or is there someone who always fills in for him?
Well, so we've got this double pivot of him and Declan Rice, and it depends what formation we play. If we play a four at the back system with those two, potentially there does leave space in behind because both of them like to get a bit more forward. But when we've seen them be most effective together is when we've played a three at the back. We play a sort of a 3-4-3 variant type thing where you have those two as the centre midfielders. They both get forward, but because of the wing backs and the centre backs, there's not really too much space. Declan Rice, before this season, has sort of been filling in the gap. Whoever's been playing next to him would get further forward and he would fill in that gap, and he was incredible at it. But this season, even he's been getting a bit further forward. And I think what we've seen is a club and a side who are getting a bit more confident in themselves, that they don't have to constantly be like, oh my God, they're going to score. The opposition are going to score. They're allowing a bit more freedom to get those two forward. There will be space in behind. I think if we're getting a bit overconfident, a bit too much of ourselves, and we're dedicating a bit too much to going forward, which we have seen occasionally, but not very rarely, people like Zaha, who, if he just is anywhere near that space, is going to have a grand old time. And we saw in our previous game someone exactly the same situation. Who was it? Can't remember who it was who scored, but literally just ran through the middle of that space that you've just pulled up there and said that could be a space to walk in. Just walk straight through the middle. All our defenders backed off, hit it from range, bottom corner, goal. It can happen. It has happened. But David Moyes is a very conservative manager, especially going away. I don't know how wild he's going to get with the team selection in terms of tactics and moving forward like that.
Okay. So how are you feeling ahead of this game? Do you see this as, we've got something going on here? Palace, they're not doing that well this season. They're not, they're mid-table. We're mid-table. We can get results here and there, but majority of the time, we're not really a threat in front of goal. How do you see it as a West Ham fan going into this? Is this a must-win for you guys? Not must-win, but is it a game where you see it as, we should be winning this game?
It's interesting because tactically we set up to defend. We set up defensive first. We're a very counter-attacking team, a lot like you guys are. And that usually comes undone against teams who play similarly to us. So, for example, the best example is probably Newcastle beginning of the season. They beat us 2-0 because they set up similarly to the way we both set up with a sort of defensive first, counter-attacking functional style. And they they just pulled us apart because we don't break teams down very well. We're not a team who's going to come up and pull you apart. If you're sitting back defensively, if you set up in a way where you're like, right, we're going to defend and then we're going to ping it towards Eze, Zaha, stuff like that, then we're not going to be able to break you down. We're not very good at that whatsoever. We did it against Doncaster because that's Doncaster, and we played a completely different style than we've ever played under David Moyes. It was a wild day. But realistically, what's going to happen is if you set up like that, it's going to be a tough game for us, despite your form, despite everything, just because we're not good enough at breaking teams down like that. You'll see us, we'll continuously play the ball out wide to either Kufau or Cresswell, whichever side we go on fullbacks, they're going to try and whip the ball in because that's what we tend to do. Souček will get into centre. It's going to be a difficult game. It will be a struggle, but like you say, we have got the form and you guys haven't. So everyone's going into it buoyant, thinking we can get a win here, but we're thinking that every single game. Realistically, though, I think it is going to be a lot tougher than even the most optimistic West Ham fans are probably making it out to be.
Okay, so let's get your lineup and score prediction. Let's see how tough you think it is going to be. But first of all, I don't know if David Moyes likes to change it about, but what do you think that he will go out with in this game lineup, and also maybe the formation he might use?
So no, he doesn't. He's the most boring man in the way. You know, like he's not going to spice it up in his marriage. I'm sure his wife knows exactly what's going on in his life at all times.
That's what That's the thing. It's not only with you. It happens with. I don't know how bad it is with David Moyes. You're getting results with Roy Hodgson. When we don't get results, he still has his favourites. So we've got, you probably, I don't know if you know about him, but Diyar, he's a midfielder, young midfielder. Yeah. You know, technical on the ball, can also defend and pick up passes, but he doesn't start him. He prefers James McCarthy and Luka Milivojevic over a young technical midfielder, and that's because he's stubborn. He's got his favourites. So with what's going on there, at least look at the positives because you're getting results. We're not getting results, and we still don't see that many changes. But sorry to cut you off there, but I just had to put that there. So don't worry about it. It's only David Moyes.
It's nice when someone has the same problems as you. Just sort of talk about. Yeah, I mean, like, we'll either set up. We have two systems. We either set up with a 4-4-1-1 or a 3-4-3, or it's more likely a 5-4-1 if you want to put it in defensive terms. But we'll probably set up with 4 at the back because we have been recently. It will be Fabianski. From right to left, it will be Kufau, Dawson, Ogbonna, and then Cresswell. We'll play 4 across the middle. From right to left, it will probably be Bowen, Rice, Souček, and then Pablo Fornals. And then almost certainly, it will be Antonio up front, and then the person behind him will either be Ben Rama or Lanzini. We don't have that deeper squad, so rotation can't really happen that much. I think we've got the smallest squad in the league. We've only got 21 registered players, and 4 of those are goalkeepers. To put it into context of how small our squad is, it's insane. So rotation can't really be a thing, even if David Moyes wanted to do it, and he doesn't. That's most likely how we'll set up, and it will be a case of we'll be compact, we'll try and defend as much as we can. You'll see the 2 wide players getting really, really deep. And then when we hit it, we'll boot it at Antonio and hope he does something magic, maybe a little bit here and there. But that's almost certainly how we're going to set up.
And what's the score prediction? Just say whatever is in your head. It doesn't matter that you're on a Paddy's channel. What are you going with?
So this is the confluence, right? My heart is saying 2-1 West Ham. My head is saying 1-1, and I'll go with my head because I do think I don't think we're going to break you down anywhere near as much as it seems like we will given our position. And to be honest, a point away at Palace at this point in the season, I'd take that. I'd be happy enough with that, As long as we go out there and we put a good account of ourselves, then I can deal with that.
I'm gonna go with a 1-0. It was 1-0 last game. But hopefully Benteke doesn't get sent off this time for trying to head the ball twice, which was very annoying when it happened last time around. I couldn't believe it. But I think 1-0, I can see something like that happening. We're both solid defensively. We're not, the greatest going forward. So a draw, 1-0 or 0-0 is most likely. But let us know in the comments down below what you guys think. What's your score predictions for the game and how are you feeling as well? Are you a bit more confident than I am? Are you a bit like Charlie where you're predicting maybe a West Ham win? Let us know in the comments down below. And thank you for joining me, Charlie. And, let us know where people can find you and Hamish Chat as well.
Yeah, Hammers Chat on YouTube, youtube.com/Hammers Chat West Ham channel. We do watch alongs for every game. We do previews, reviews. We do a lot of videos, to be honest with you. You should just come and check us out. Hammers_chat on Twitter. You can find me at a top lad, but it's not worth following me. I'll be honest with you. I tweet nonsense about dumb things. I wouldn't come look at that. So Hammers_chat, have a look there, and yeah, come get involved. We always like opposition fans and their opinions and stuff. So we'd love to have you.
All right, I'll leave the link in the description down below so you can go check them out and let us know your score predictions. And until next time, up the